This is the first paycheck budget of April, which for us is March 21st to April 3rd, because for us, the first paycheck of the month always contains the first because that's when most of the bills are. Hi, I'm Bo. Wynn is not joining me today because he is under the weather, but that's a-okay. We have our monthly budget here. We have the budget calendar, and we have the template, which has already been edited, and yeah, it's not 100% accurate, but it's a good starting point. So we are going to do this paycheck budget, and it should work out relatively well. We shall see. But the first step, of course, is our handy dandy post-it note, which separates out my money versus Wynn's money. His money, my partner. So we separate it here because we do not share bank accounts, so the math has to work out individually. So we have his inflow and her inflow. Boop. Okay, so his inflow is going to be, let me double check here. It's going to be his paycheck from February 21st. So $19.93 plus his savings account interest from March 3rd is going to come in on April 3rd. So that is $41. And then we're going to add that up here. So $19.93 plus 41 is $20.34. And then my inflow is my March 13th paycheck, so $14.91, which is a little smaller than what I'm used to, a little smaller than what it's been recently. And then we have the savings account interest for me, which is 88. Okay, so we have $14.91 plus 88 is $15.79. So $15.79 is going to be my inflow. Okay, now that we have that information, we go down to his paycheck and just copy this down. So $19.93, my paycheck $14.91, and then other income will be our savings account interest added together. So that's 41 plus 88. So 129. Oops. Good grief. Okay. So other income 129. And then from savings, let us look at the ye old calendar. We are looking at March 21st to April 3rd. So all we have here is city sticker. So I'm just going to put it down here. City sticker. And that's 41 because I did decide that I'm going to go with the 4-month one so that I don't have to worry about changing my address in a year for the next year's city sticker. Just going to do it in a few months. So city sticker, and then also I'm going to put moving here. And I'm going to put half of what I budgeted for the month. So we're going to do $2,000 because I don't know what all is going to come out during this time. We're just guesstimating because I really don't know what costs are going to come up when. It just is going to happen when it happens. So 2041 is what we're going to guesstimate is coming from savings. If you didn't know, we are trying to buy a house currently. And because of that, there are additional expenses that are popping up. So, like we had an inspection, we had a roofer come out to look at the roof. We had someone come and look at the sewer lines, partially because the current owners of the house that we're trying to buy, they did a lot of things themselves because they had the know-how, but it looks like they cut some corners. So we are double checking several things, which does come at an additional cost. So it's a bit of an adventure. We are spending a lot more than we originally planned, but we're going to do what we can, and we're going to do, we're not going to go into bankruptcy. So we're just, bear with us. But we might spend a couple thousand in this pay period. Okay. So all this adds up to $19.93 plus $14.91 plus $129 plus $20.41 equals $56.54. So $56.54. So keep in mind, if you ever want to buy a house, first of all, don't trust the seller, because the seller will say whatever they can to get you to give them your money. So at the very least, you need a good real estate agent and a good inspector so that you know what you're getting yourself into, at least roughly. There will be additional expenses, and some of these expenses happen before the house is actually bought. So, like the cost for my inspection, I'm not getting that money back if I don't end up buying this house. The cost of having the roof looked at, I'm not going to get that money back if I don't buy this house. But if I don't go into buying this house, if we don't go into buying this house with our eyes wide open, we could end up spending a lot more money down the road than we are prepared to do. So I'd rather spend a few thousand up front to make sure that we know exactly what we're getting into, versus having many, many more thousands of dollars come up down the road that we're not ready for. And also, part of having these things looked at professionally means we could possibly get credits on the house purchase. So they could possibly take some money off of the cost of the home based on things that aren't up to code. So, based on like how much we have to put in immediately to make the house like up to code. And by up to code, it means up to the standards of our area. So there are some things that are considered like illegal to have, are illegal setups. And there are some things that are just like nice to haves. So it is in fact like illegal to have your sewer lines, like your pipes going to the sewer, being done in certain incorrect ways. That is a safety hazard, like a health hazard. It is illegal to not have enough smoke detectors. It is like these things are not up to the ordinances. It's not like a crime, but it is something that you could get fined for if the city decided to inspect. So these are things that could potentially help us save a little money off buying the house, but then we'd have to come out of pocket to fix these things so that if the city did decide to inspect, like, we'd be okay. So that's kind of how that's going. But onward to his spending. So this is Wynn's checking account. For the first 2 weeks, we're just going to look at what's coming up here. So, the first thing that might come up, I do need to check on the due date for this. I still haven't done that. Don't judge me. The heating bill, which we are guesstimating at $470. And then kid copay should happen twice, and kid bills should happen once. So that's $183, right? Wait. No. 80. Yeah, $183. Okay. So $183 for kid bills, because kids insurance is $103 a month, and then kids copay is $40 a week, roughly. It varies sometimes. So that's that. And then the next thing to come out is potentially electric for $245. Potentially. I do need to check what's due. Don't judge me. We haven't been great about keeping on top of like due dates and due amounts. But the money will be there. Okay. So electric bill, and then so that's going to be roughly the 25th, and then rent. So rent is $13.50. And then internet for $71, and S&M collections for $50, and student loans should not come out during this time period, but adventures should come out for $20. And that is how much the boys could potentially, Wynn's sons could potentially earn in allowance. And anything they don't earn ends up going towards doing activities with them. So they still get the money one way or the other. It's just they may end up with it in cash, and they may end up with it in the form of an activity. So, and then $50 for miscellaneous, which is Wynn spending money. So he pulls out this $50 in cash, and then anything he spends in his bank account that is above and beyond these other things, that is considered going over budget. So I don't actually know how much cash he has in his wallet. Like, that's okay. But he knows that if he uses his debit card, that is essentially going over budget in miscellaneous, despite how much cash is in his wallet. So that should, in theory, keep him honest. We shall see what happens. Okay. So let's just do some quick math here. So we have $13.50 plus $183 plus $71 plus $50 plus $470 plus $245 plus $20 plus $50 is $24.39. And if I did that math wrong, y'all, please check me, because sometimes this calculator doesn't like me. Okay, so $24.39. Oh, wow. Wait. We only have 2034, and this is $24.39. That's a problem. How did that happen? Could that be right? Wait, let me double check. Okay, so $13.50 plus $183 plus $71 plus $50 plus $470 plus $245 plus $20 plus $50. That's $24.39. Yo, that is more than what his paycheck is. So that's a problem. That's a serious problem. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna be a little creative, and we're gonna pull in a second paycheck for him. So what's gonna happen is he's gonna end up rolling over money, is what's gonna happen, because so normally what happens is some of these bills are normally at the end of the month versus the beginning. But because this time period here is the 21st through the 3rd, that's most of his bills. That's the vast majority of his bills. So this is actually going to be a case where Win needs to bring in 2 paychecks this time and then roll over what's left. So he is not going to be able to save anything in this pay period. Everything is going to go towards the next one. So he's not going to like it, y'all. He's not going to like it. Okay. So what we have is we're gonna erase right here. And erase right here. Okay. And erase right here. Okay. So what we're going to do is 1993 plus 1993 is 3986. So 3986. And then plus 41 is 4027. So we're going to put that up here. Because we're going to bring in both of these paychecks. We're going to bring in both of them because we're going to let this math work. Okay, so we have 3986 plus 1491 plus 129 plus 2041 equals 7647. Okay. Now, let's do this math here. So we have 1350 plus 183 plus 71 plus 50 plus 470 plus 245 plus 20 plus 50. It's 2439. Okay, so if the heating bill and the electric bill end up being significantly less to the point where they are less than what he would have budgeted before with the one paycheck and the one savings account interest added together, if it comes up to less than that, then I will not use this second paycheck. But if it does, then I will. So stay tuned. This is part of the flexibility of being ahead on your budget a little bit. Being ahead of your budget a little bit. So $24.39 is what this all comes up to. Now we are going to essentially subtract 4027, which leaves 1588. So 1588 is going to roll over to the next pay period. So that should add up to 4027. And that's how we're going to make this work. So we're going to move on. So this would mean that Win is not saving anything this time. And that's okay. We shall see how things go with the next pay period. Okay, so now we go to her spending. So this is my spending. So we have 48 for my monthly bills. This is my checking account, if I didn't make that clear. 48 for my monthly bills. His debt is not getting anything because we're trying to buy a house. So extra debt payments are paused. $30 for dining out, which is really just food that's not groceries. Sometimes it's like a bag of chips. Sometimes it's like actual restaurant. It varies. Groceries in bulk is $260. Transportation is $60. Health is 80. Home shopping is 30. Birthdays, 5. Clothing and shoes, 50. Pet care, 15. Personal and Alphaba, 100. And personal is my spending money. Alphaba is me matching what Wynn's children add to their savings accounts. So I kind of give them a pseudo 401k match. They're not currently putting anything in their savings accounts because they're saving up for something fun, in which case, for fun things, Wynn matches their contributions to their piggy banks once they reach the threshold of what they're saving. So that is not going to be tracked on this budget because that just is based on how much they have in their piggy banks. And then as soon as they reach that amount, Wynn will just match it. So that's what that is. Let's add it all up here. So 48 plus 30 plus 260 plus 60 plus 80 plus 30 plus 5 plus 50 plus 15 plus 100 is 678. So 678. And then my total inflow is 1579. So subtract minus 678 equals 901. So that is how much I have to save. So that's what's going down here in my saving. And if you notice, I always work backwards in saving from how much total there's left to save, because then, you know, I know how far I can go towards my goal. So I always do this in priority order, and my current priorities are Christmas as number 1, moving as number 2, and insurance as number 3. So out of 901, so 901 is what we're starting with here. Christmas, budgeting 95. Never know what cards I'm going to pull. So minus 95. I use a card savings challenge for Christmas. So that's 806 left. And then that is less than what my goal is for moving fund for the month. So we're just going to go with that. So 806. And the maximum that I'm planning on spending this month is, where'd it go? Saving this month for moving is $1242. That's what the goal is. So we shall see if we reach it. We might actually go over it if I pull very small cards for Christmas. We shall see. Fingers crossed. Because moving is expensive, especially when you're moving into a house. Because there's certain things that have to be like bought, replaced, fixed, like you never know. For example, I know I've kind of said this before. I said we need to buy curtains for the new house. We have a cat. This particular cat loves to sit in windows. And if there are mini blinds that are like on the cheaper side that are very flexible, he will absolutely bend those mini blinds to get into the window. So the mini blinds will be like bent and like crooked, and sometimes creased, and sometimes he will chew on the ends of them, and then they'll be all like crunchy, like crunched up and really like jacked up looking. Sometimes he'll break them entirely, because he will like climb through them and like pull, like yank on them as he's climbing it. It's a whole thing. So whenever we have those small mini blinds, we usually put in curtains. And also we almost always put in curtains in the living room, even if the mini blinds are nicer, just for privacy's sake, so that, you know, people can't see inside. And also so that if we're watching TV, we don't have so much of a glare from the window, because sometimes that glare can show up even with the mini blinds closed, just because they can see like all the lines kind of show up on the TV screen, depending on the angle of the sun. So like we tend to avoid that by using curtains. So that's that. It's not like end of the world expensive, but like sometimes those things do add up. So we do want to save as much as we possibly can for moving. Okay, now that I've gone through those little rants, and it has already been 25 minutes, y'all. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Okay, let us make the math. Okay, so we have 76.47 minus, oops, excuse me, I'm burping. 40.27 is 36.20. So 36.20 minus 0, because he's not saving anything, so 36.20. And then minus 678 is 29.42. And then minus the 901 that I'm saving is 20.41. And 20.41 is how much savings I'm planning to spend. So that is a zero-based budget, because 20.41 minus 20.41 is 0. And of course, a zero-based budget does not mean my bank account is at 0 or Wynn's bank account is at 0. It means that every dollar has a job. Every dollar has somewhere to go. And as I said, we do things by priority. So at the very least, our highest priorities will be met and we will be good to go. And again, moving is going to vary a lot. I don't actually know how much it's going to be until it happens. There will be a review video for the full costs of moving once we are all the way settled in the new house. Assuming the sale goes through, y'all, wish us luck. I appreciate you for staying as long as you did. I love you. Never forget that you deserve financial stability, and I hope you have a great day on purpose. Bye.